We knew very early that we wanted a flying mob and specifically a flying mount.
Minecraft just released another one of my favorite types of videos because unlike most of their stuff, which is promotional or weird promotional honestly, this was an actual look at the Happy Ghast, both in early development as well as concept art, and then actual developers sit down and give us insights into why they made it the way that they did. Now that the Happy Ghast is finished, they also give us a little bit of a tease about when this is coming to the game, and I want to give you all of the insights that we learned from Lady Agnes and the rest of the team in today's video, so make sure to like it if you do like it. But let's talk first about why did they create it the way that they did? Well, here's the answer.
So with this drop, we really wanted to add gameplay depth. So new things to do, like new things to play with.
Basically, they wanted to do the exact opposite of the Spring to Life drop, where they added a bunch of new features in the form of mob skins and greenery that didn't really add much gameplay depth. So they had some ideas that they tested for this, but the one that seems to have caught on the most is
a new flying mob that you could fly on. Just sparked such joy. So just the idea, like once it was out there, you know, a flying mob.
Yeah,
right?
that sparks. That's appealing.
Yeah.
It's funny because I think he's right here that any mob that is flying and that you could ride was immediately going to be successful. However, I've saw all sorts of concept arts that people made for a different idea for the Happy Ghast. Here's someone who said that it could be part of an end update if they just changed it. However, I actually think that any mob that was made anywhere else wouldn't quite have the same level of joy, because ultimately there is something about the Happy Ghast that wins outside of the practicality, and here's the explanation of that from Agnes.
I really like how we designed the Happy Ghast, that you kind of set multiple goals for yourself. You find this little dried ghast, and then you have the ghastling, and you know, through all these stages you take care of this mob, and we hope that that creates like a precious connection.
Or to put that simply, because you go through so much effort to get it and it is so cute, you're immediately going to love it. Or to put that even simpler, genuinely though, I think one of the most important parts of adding a new feature to any game is getting the design right, whether that's the sound design or whether that's making something that looks good, or indeed whether it's just lovable like the Happy Ghast. I think that when something is so well designed that you want it regardless of the features, all of the things that you get from it seem like a bonus. So I think a bad example of this is scaffolding. Every time you remember how useful it is, you think, well, I'd have to craft it and then keep it on me, and then I have to destroy it when it's done. Whereas with a Happy Ghast, you might genuinely just want this to fly out and look at your world from afar, or maybe you just want the cute little pet, and then you realize that, oh yeah, you can actually, just like Steve here, you can build some upside down stairs underneath your big structure. When you realize that it's also like scaffolding, it's a really nice bonus, and I think that's something that's really underappreciated. And speaking of underappreciated, one of the most important parts of vanilla Minecraft is the balance between various features, and they actually referenced it in this.
One of our amazing designers mapped out all the different transportation methods that exist in Minecraft, so we got this really good overview and could really look at where we wanted to kind of place the Happy Ghast, both kind of in the player progression, approximately when can you find the Happy Ghast, but also velocity.
This is something I don't think we discuss enough when we talk about new Minecraft features, at least as a community, because ultimately, if they're adding new features to the game, but it just entirely replaces old ones, they haven't really actually added any new Minecraft content. Think about it, if they just added a brand new minecart, but it went twice as fast, then there's no reason to have the old minecart, and so really, they haven't added a new feature, they've just tweaked an old one, and so to make sure they didn't do that with the Happy Ghast, they compared it to the Elytra.
The Ghast can't be as fast as the Elytra, it can't like overshadow or replace other means of transportations in the game. So it's very important that we find a nice, that we can slot the Happy Ghast into all the other means of transportation in Minecraft.
The deep discussions they had about the transportation hierarchy is really interesting because early on I mentioned just after Minecraft Live that maybe they were going to make a transportation update, and what's interesting is that seemed like it was panning out. I mean, they made changes to the leads and then they started making other changes, but clearly as we get to the end here, the Happy Ghast is the big central focus, and so why is that the case? Well, I figured it'd be worth taking a second to look at Wham. So they are a Minecraft leaker, you could call them, or whether you want to just say a data miner, or whether they're just someone who happens to know things about Minecraft ahead of time, whatever they are, they said before the least changes happened that they would be added next week, which they were. They said the summer drop would have new music, which it did, but then they said possibly new horse mechanics such as swimming. And this makes me think, given if we combine that leak with the video we just saw, I think that they were originally planning on making the horse more powerful, because obviously it what they just said confirms that they want to make sure they don't overshadow any other form of transport, and the horse was great for the early mid-game after you've gotten saddles, and so if there was going to be a mob with an easier to get saddle, because that is true of the Happy Ghast harness, then what would be the point of the horse? And the balancing factor clearly could have been the fact that, oh, the horse would get so much better, but it seems like that very near the end of this preview cycle, they just decided, you know what if we just made the saddle craftable? That would solve a lot of problems all at once, and so maybe that's why the horse mechanics never came. Maybe they were actually planned all along, and maybe they're still in the game files somewhere internally. We'll never know because we don't get to see them, but it was really cool to hear this, and similarly, if you like hearing about the development of Minecraft, you might enjoy seeing this concept art.
So we started to look at the leashing code, and then the team started to play around with that.
Which then led us into the whole leashing anything to anything, as we kind of call it inside.
Wait a minute. I thought the Happy Ghast concept art was cool, but did you notice there they had a sniffer just directly tied to a Happy Ghast for some reason? Was that originally how you were going to be able to lead mobs to it? Super cool. Anyway, that's not how it works right now, but if you want to hear more about anything to anything,
as we kind of call it inside internally, with a big asterisk, anything meaning like certain mobs.
So thanks to this one simple rule, the players can do just endless of creative things, and it just gives so much creativity and emergent gameplay.
It's funny because they said they were inspired by hot air balloons and the idea of maybe bringing, like your friends or mobs with you, and what people have seemingly actually done is not bring their friends, but instead use the Happy Ghast on their enemies. I absolutely love the Minecraft community for this. But do you know what else I love? Even Mojang concede that, yeah, the point of emergent gameplay is that people can do basically anything they want, even giving this example.
Last week I saw someone made an elevator where you're flushing a cat up and down a glass tube. So the cat is leashed to the elevator platform.
Personally, that actually sounds pretty tame. I mean, what I've seen that's even crueler than this is people using Happy Ghasts and tying them together to make a fully functional train, and I'm just saying, this is exactly proof of why Minecraft needs to add new mechanics that allow for emergent gameplay. In other words, even if they add a bunch of new blocks to the game, all you can really do is build your old blocks, but now with more variation, and I guess if they add a new color of red, you can make a slightly more red house. However, if they add the Happy Ghast, it's a whole new mechanic, and so even though the summer drop has fewer features in it, ultimately it's going to allow for far more creativity. At least that's the pitch from Mojang. They spoke a little bit about the theory, something I just want to show very briefly. A theory that they said was very much a fan theory that they liked was the idea that you could actually say that because the dried ghast spawn around these fossils, maybe those fossils are the remnants of an old mega ghast that have now gone extinct. Again, I love whenever they mention lore, but also they specifically mention when this update might be coming around for all of us.
So all of these features are coming with our next drop.
Also together with like a new saddle recipe, the locator bar,
new music, and a bunch more.
Keep an eye out for when we announce the name and the release date for this drop.
I think that's as good as confirmation that yes, they are done adding new features to this drop, and so that means that you can expect it to go into pre-release on Java soon, and that means we can expect 1.21.100 betas and previews to start in the not too distant future. It's kind of exciting, actually, in its own weird way. But yes, they did make a little bit of a hint there that, yeah, there's going to be an event soon where they're going to be announcing both the release date and the name of the summer drop. It's super, super weird to say this, but we know it's coming out literally next month, probably in the next 3 to 4 weeks, but we have no idea what it's actually going to be called, and this is the new Minecraft methodology. They are going to use the release date and, of course, the name of the update to generate one more big wave of hype, and my prediction is that is going to be on Sunday the 8th. I just figured I'd reiterate it here, so if it does happen, you'll know why I'm right. That is when Xbox Summer Game Showcase is going to happen, and it's when I'm excited to learn if I was correct in booking my travel plans, or if I'll be on a plane when the update comes out yet again. That is something exciting to follow. The summer drop is coming super, super soon, and I hope you enjoyed this quick little video. It's a chill Sunday for me over here. I just had a sandwich, and then I got a great new Mojang video that I just couldn't help but share with all of you. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and if you didn't, then good news. There'll be a different video tomorrow. Thank you. Actually, it'll be Q&A Bank Holiday Monday edition. Gonna be great. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you then. Bye.